So you're thinking about building a pond. What do you need to do when you start out? Well, what you first need to do is decide how big it's going to be and how deep. It's always recommended to go as big as you can afford. However, if you just want something small, dig something small. So you've got to decide how deep is it going to be. Now if you want just a simple wildlife pond where you might have frogs, newts, birds visiting your pond, you won't want it very deep. You know, you won't want it any deeper than say 18 inches, and you'll probably want shells on there so birds can actually get in and drink, as well as have frogs in there and maybe even a few goldfish. However, if you're thinking about having a large pond and you want koi fish in there, you're going to seriously have to think about building it large, having it quite deep, and you may want to consider digging down to a minimum of 3 foot. But you may want to go a little bit deeper than that just to account for the rocks, because when you're rocking a pond it reduces your water total volume in your pond. So you might be asking, why do people rock in a pond? Why don't they just use bare liner? Well, the beneficial bacteria lives on porous material like stone, rocks, gravel. So the more stone and the more gravel you have in your pond, the better it is for the general ecosystem. In terms of the more beneficial bacteria you've got in your pond, the better it is for dealing with any sort of ammonia or nitrates, nitrites that you might have in your pond that is waste from your fish. So the more of an ecosystem you have in your pond, plants is a better filtration system than actually having a large filter. You know, you may see many people on YouTube have built large ponds with massive filtration systems. You don't need that if you've got plants. Plants is the best filtration system of Mother Earth. So the more plants you have in your pond, around your pond, the better your pond will do, and you won't need much filtration in your waterfall systems or even a filtration system outside of your pond. So the first step is to dig your pond out, and you'll need to get a skip to get rid of that material, or you may wish to reuse some of that material you've dug out depending on how big your pond or how deep it's going to be. Obviously if it's very deep, you're going to have to find a way of removing that material and getting it away from the garden. So as I was saying, the best way of filtering your pond is using Mother Earth and plants to absorb any sort of fish waste that comes from the fish. So once you've built your pond, in terms of digging it out, what do you do? Well, what you need to do is you need to get... So when you've dug your pond out, what you need to do is get some underlay put down. And before you put the underlay down, you need to just remove all the sharp stones. It might be a good idea to put a bed of sand down and then put your underlay down. Then you get a good liner, a pond liner. There's many types. There's PVC, which is very thin but based on plastic. You can get EPDM, which is rubber, and it varies in thickness. Various people will go for 0.45 thickness, there's 0.75 thickness, but if you want the best, it's 1mm thick 5-stone EPDM liner is the best. I've gone for in between, which is a 0.75 thickness of EPDM. The reason people go for rubber liners is it's very strong, it's hard to puncture, and it's a good material to use. So once you put your EPDM down, what you can do is put an overlay on top, which is underlay on top. The reason a lot of people do that, and various professionals will do that, is when you start putting rocks and rocking in your pond, what you'll find is you could potentially inadvertently puncture the liner with those sharp rocks. So quite often what I tend to do is when I get stones, I go around hammering the edges of the stone to make it smooth so there's no chance of punctures. But it's always a good idea to put an underlay down on the EPDM liner just to protect it from any sharp edges. So if you've got smooth stones like this, which is smooth, you shouldn't have an issue. However, when you start putting sharper stones in, like this, that have sharp edges that could puncture the liner, that's when you want to be mindful of what you're putting in your pond. So once you've rocked your pond in and you've linered it all and you've decided on your levels, your pond's pretty much done. Now if you wish to, you can obviously put a skimmer at the end of your pond so you have your water flowing down, and a skimmer box essentially just removes the leaves from the surface and stops them sinking down to the bottom, because once the leaves sink down to the bottom they can give off gases and create a nightmare in terms of ammonia spikes and that sort of thing. So if you're quite regularly cleaning your pond yourself, you might not decide your pond is too small but you don't need a skimmer. Another way of going is building what they call an intake bay. An intake bay is simply put a bed of gravel where you pump underneath and it draws the water to the bed of gravel, and any leaves will float and move across and basically lie on top of the bed of gravel. You can use plastic boxes, aqua boxes underneath and have your gravel on top to hold more water. But in general, the idea is it moves the leaves across onto a bed of gravel and you just scoop them out and put them in the bin yourself. That's what an intake bay is. It's separate to a skimmer, but essentially they both do the same thing. So what is a bog filter or wetland filter, you might be asking? Well, that's basically like what I've got here. We've got a little pooling area here where my waterfall is, and I've got some plants. Essentially, a bog filter is an area where water flows before it reaches your pond, and you may have plants in there that are taking nutrients and harmful things like ammonia out of the water, turning nitrates to nitrites and that sort of thing. And generally speaking, they're referred to as bog filters. You can build them outside of the pond or near your waterfall, not actually in the pond, and that will help filtrate your pond even more so than having plants in your pond. So that's another way of going in terms of filtration. So where we're at, we've finished our pond off, haven't we? We've rocked it in. So let's talk about where can you get your rocks from, because I don't think I've mentioned that. So you can go to various quarries. You can normally buy the ton. If you've only got a small car, you could potentially put some stones in your car. Obviously you're going to make a mess of your car, don't forget about that, and you'll have to clean it out afterwards. And do it bit by bit, or you could hire a van or get a trailer and go off to the quarry and get all your stones in one lump sum, or you could get it in bits. Another useful tool is, if you've ever heard of the Facebook marketplace, you can get free stone. Many people are just trying to get rid of stone they've got lying around in the garden and get it for free. It won't cost you anything. There are people that are asking money for stone. For those people, don't bother, because the money they're asking, it's cheaper to go to the quarry and get it yourself. But for those people that are listing on there giving stone away for free, yeah, by all means go and pick it up. It costs you nothing, and reuse it in the building of your pond. So as you can see, what I've done here, as I can show you, is we've rocked in the pond all the way around, and I've used Waterfall Form to form the actual rocks into the actual pond. So this is nice and secure. Yes, you can use mortar and you can use cement. The thing is, when you use cement or mortar in the building of your pond, it can have a negative effect on the water quality, and it can raise your pH to a level where it could be potentially harmful. Now that pH harmful level, will normalise itself over a period of time. Once the cement and the mortar has cured and those harmful things have got out of the water, over time you'll be able to introduce your fish. But what you remember, that will take time to make all the concrete and cement cure over time. So it's better just to use a liner, and an alternative to using mortar and cement is using Waterfall Form, which is just a canister of expanding foam that you spray into the gaps. As you can see, some of it's still visible because I didn't do a fantastic job on hiding it, but essentially it shouldn't really be that visible. And when you're building your waterfall, that's what you want to do. Use a lot of waterfall expanding foam. Don't use the commercial yellow stuff. You'll need to get the special Waterfall Form, and we'll talk about that next.